Abandoned in the void, Captain Saren Tuval stood motionless at the viewport of the astral Voyager, her silver eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars. The emergency lighting cast a dim blue glow across her pale features, highlighting the luminescent markings that traced her high cheekbones, markings that identified her as a member of the HFY scientific caste. Those same markings were now dull, their bioluminescence fading with her dwindling strength. "Life support projections, Technician Varys," she said without turning. 17 hours, Captain," came the hoarse reply. "Oxygen recyclers are at 12% capacity. The last backup cell failed an hour ago." Saren closed her eyes briefly. 17 hours. Not even a full rotation cycle. After 12 days adrift in this forgotten corner of space, their time was finally running out. The astral Voyager, once the pride of the HFY research fleet, now drifted helplessly through the void. Its crystalline propulsion arrays, technology that had taken her people centuries to develop, had been systematically destroyed in what she now knew was an act of sabotage. Behind her, the remaining 23 crew members of the original 40 worked in near silence. Some monitored the failing systems, some tended to the injured, and others simply sat in quiet meditation, preparing for what seemed inevitable. The HFY were not afraid of death. Their culture had long embraced it as part of the natural cycle, but to die because of betrayal, that was harder to accept. "Captain," called her first officer, Nelith. The communications array just picked up another energy surge from the artifact container. Saren finally turned from the viewport. "Increase the dampening field. We can't risk detection." The artifacts, 5 iridescent crystalline structures no larger than her palm, were the reason they were all going to die. Discovered amidst the ruins of an ancient station orbiting a dead star, the objects contained data storage beyond anything the HFY had ever encountered. Data that suggested the Galactic Concordat, the ruling interstellar government that had controlled space travel for millennia, had systematically suppressed advanced technologies to maintain their dominance. "Someone on this ship didn't want us bringing these back to HFY space," Saren had told her senior officers after the sabotage was discovered. Now the question was whether they would die here, their discovery buried with them, or whether the saboteur had arranged for retrieval. "Captain," called Varys from the sensor station, his voice suddenly alert. "I'm detecting an approaching vessel." Saren felt a chill run along her spine. "Concordat?" "No, the signature is unfamiliar." Varys' long fingers moved rapidly over the crystal interface. "Definitely not Concordat, not Chivalry either. The energy patterns don't match anything in our database." First Officer Nelith moved to Saren's side. Could it be them? The ones from the restricted sectors? Humans. The word hung unspoken between them. The HFY had only heard rumors about the species that had emerged from a quarantined sector of space, a young race that had somehow developed faster than light travel independently, without Concordat guidance. The Concordat maintained strict borders around human territory, claiming the species was unstable and potentially destructive. "Incoming transmission," announced Communications Officer Terrace, surprise evident in her voice. "They're broadcasting on multiple frequencies." "Put it through," Saren ordered. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in heavily accented but understandable Galactic standard. "Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Alliance ship Horizon Seeker. We've detected your power fluctuations and life support failures. We are offering assistance. Please respond." The bridge fell silent. Humans, here, well outside their permitted territory, and offering help. "Should I respond, Captain?" Terrace asked. Saren hesitated. Contact with humans was strictly forbidden by Concordat law. The HFY, though independent in many ways, still operated under those restrictions. Breaking them could mean political repercussions for their entire species. But they were already dead without help. "Open a channel," she decided. Moments later, Saren spoke carefully. "Horizon Seeker, this is Captain Saren Tuval of the HFY research vessel Astral Voyager. We are experiencing critical systems failures. Our life support will fail within 17 hours. There was a brief pause before the human responded. Understood, Astral Voyager. We can be alongside you in 40 minutes. Prepare your crew for emergency evacuation. Nelith leaned close. Captain, we cannot trust. We have no choice, Saren cut him off quietly. And no time for debate. She addressed the human captain again. Horizon Seeker, be advised that accepting your assistance may violate Concordat protocols. This time, the response came immediately, accompanied by what Saren would later learn was human laughter. Captain Tuvul, the Concordat and I have very different opinions about their protocols. We'll be there in 40 minutes. Chen out. Saren turned to her crew, seeing hope kindle in their eyes for the first time in days. Prepare essential data cores for transfer. Medical Officer Lyrell, ready the critically injured for immediate transport. What about the artifacts? Nelith asked quietly. Saren lowered her voice. I'll handle them personally. No one outside our senior staff needs to know we're bringing them aboard the human vessel. As her crew moved with renewed purpose, Saren returned to the viewport. Somewhere out there, a ship crewed by a species she knew only from rumors was racing toward them. A species the Concordat had declared dangerous and unpredictable. A species that might be their only hope. Captain Maya Chen studied the holographic display of the alien vessel. The Astral Voyager was unlike any ship she'd seen before, a graceful construct of crystalline structures and flowing metallic alloys that seemed almost organic in design. Status report, she demanded, her dark eyes never leaving the display. Her XO, Commander Jackson Wells, responded promptly. Their power systems are nearly depleted. Hull integrity holding, but life support is critical. I count 23 life signs, though several are weak. Maya nodded. When they detected the faint distress signal while mapping this uncharted sector, she hadn't expected to find an Alari research vessel. The Alari were known to be reclusive, advanced, and strictly obedient to Concordat regulations, which made their presence here as puzzling as her own. Dr. Rivera, she called to her chief medical officer, what do we know about Alari physiology? The doctor consulted her tablet. Humanoid, but with significant differences. Oxygen breathers with slightly lower temperature requirements. Their cellular structure is more crystalline than ours, which affects their medical needs. I've programmed the medical bay accordingly. Good. Maya turned to her security chief. Lieutenant Commander Okafor. Thoughts? Mia Okafor, a veteran of Earth's conflicts with the Chiveri before first contact with the wider galactic community, frowned thoughtfully. Could be a trap, Captain. The Concordat has been trying to contain human expansion for decades. This might be an attempt to catch us violating their territory restrictions. Possibly, Maya acknowledged. But those life signs are failing. Trap or not, we're not leaving them to die. She stood from her command chair. Helm, maintain approach. Dr. Rivera, prepare the medical bay. Commander Wells, ready the boarding teams. Lieutenant Commander Okafor, security protocols at level 2. As her crew acknowledged their orders, Maya added, and let's give our guests a proper welcome. This may be the first time humans and Alari have officially met. Let's make a good impression. The Horizon Seeker continued its approach, a sleek vessel of human design, practical rather than aesthetic, but incorporating elements of technology they'd adapted from their limited interactions with other species. Unlike the crystalline elegance of the Alari ship, the Horizon Seeker had the utilitarian look of a vessel built for exploration and, if necessary, combat. Captain, called her communications officer, I'm receiving a tight beam transmission from the Alari vessel. Text only. Put it on my screen, Maya ordered. The message was brief. Captain Chen, request private communication channel upon your arrival. Matter of highest sensitivity. Captain Tuvul. Maya raised an eyebrow. Interesting. Acknowledge receipt only. No response to the content. As the Horizon Seeker closed the final distance to the disabled alien vessel, Maya couldn't help but feel that they were about to step into something much bigger than a simple rescue mission. The Alari shouldn't be this far from their territories. The Concordat would never have authorized this expedition, which meant Captain Tuvol and her crew were operating outside official channels, just as Maya was. "Docking procedures initiated," announced her helmsman. "Contact in 3 minutes." Maya straightened her uniform. "Commander Wells, you have the bridge. I'll meet our guests at the docking bay." As she walked through the corridors of her ship, crew members nodded respectfully. The Horizon Seeker's mission was classified. Officially, they were conducting stellar surveys in permitted regions. Unofficially, they were pushing the boundaries of human exploration, mapping routes that would allow Earth Alliance ships to bypass Concordat checkpoints and restrictions. Maya had never expected to encounter an Alari vessel doing much the same thing. The docking bay was a flurry of activity when she arrived. Medical teams stood ready with hover gurneys. Security personnel maintained a discreet but visible presence. Engineering crews prepared to assess what, if anything, could be salvaged from the alien vessel. "Pressure equalized," announced the docking officer. "Opening outer doors now." Maya stepped forward as the massive doors slid apart, revealing the docking tube that now connected the two ships. At the far end stood a tall, slender figure with pale skin marked with faint luminescent patterns. Captain Saren Tuvol's silver eyes met Maya's brown ones across the distance. Two captains, two species, both operating where they weren't supposed to be. "Captain Tuvol," Maya called, stepping forward with a diplomat's smile. "Welcome aboard the Horizon Seeker." The Alari captain moved with surprising grace despite her obvious exhaustion. "Captain Chen, on behalf of my crew, I thank you for your intervention. Without it, we would not have survived another day." Maya gestured toward the medical teams. "My people are ready to assist yours. We should prioritize the critically injured." Saren nodded, then leaned closer, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "Once my crew is safe, there is something of grave importance we must discuss. Something that may explain why we were left to die out here." Maya's eyes narrowed slightly, but she kept her expression neutral. "Of course. My ready room, once your people are settled." As the Alari crew began to transfer to the human vessel, Maya watched Captain Tuvol carefully. The alien woman carried herself with dignity despite her weakened state, but there was something in her manner, a vigilance, a tension, that suggested she was carrying more than just the responsibility for her crew. Whatever the Alari had discovered out here, Maya suspected it was about to become humanity's problem too. And given the Concordat's history of trying to contain human expansion, that might not be such a bad thing. Alliance in the stars. Maya Chen's ready room aboard the Horizon Seeker was Spartan by Alari standards, where Saren's own command chamber had featured living crystal formations and bioluminescent displays. The human space was utilitarian. Metal walls adorned with only a few images of what Saren assumed were Earth landscapes, a simple desk with embedded technology, and chairs designed for functionality rather than comfort. But as Saren sat across from Captain Chen, she was struck not by their differences, but by a surprising similarity. The look of a commander who operated on the edges of what her government permitted. "Your crew is stable," Maya said, pushing a data tablet across the desk. "Dr. Rivera says the most critical cases will recover with treatment." "You have my gratitude," Saren replied, her silver eyes scanning the medical report. "Your doctor seems remarkably knowledgeable about Alari physiology." Maya's lips curved in a slight smile. "The Concordat may restrict official contact between our species, but information has ways of flowing, especially among scientists." Saren set down the tablet. Indeed, the human was silent for a moment, processing. "And someone sabotaged your ship to prevent this discovery from reaching Alari space." "Yes. We detected the sabotage too late. Our propulsion system was irreparably damaged." Saren's luminescent markings pulsed with emotion. Whoever did this knew that by the time a rescue could reach us through official channels, we would all be dead. Maya's communication device chimed before she could respond. Captain, this is Lieutenant Commander Okafor. Long-range sensors have detected 3 vessels entering the sector. Concordat signatures. Saren felt her heart rate accelerate. They found us. Maya was already on her feet. Time to intercept. At their current speed, 2 hours, came the reply. Acknowledged. Begin preparations for immediate departure. I'll be on the bridge shortly. Maya turned back to Saren. It seems our time to decide just got shorter. Saren stood as well. I've endangered your ship and crew by bringing these artifacts aboard. You didn't have much choice, Maya replied, her tone matter-of-fact. And I'm not in the habit of letting people die when I can help. The question now is, what do we do next? The Concordat will demand you turn over both my crew and the artifacts. Maya's expression hardened. They can demand all they want. Earth Alliance doesn't recognize their authority over human vessels. They will say we violated their laws and that you are harboring criminals. Wouldn't be the first time someone's called me that. Maya gestured to the door. Come with me to the bridge. If we're going to evade 3 Concordat vessels, I want your insights on their tactics. As they walked swiftly through the corridors of the human ship, Saren observed the crew they passed. Unlike her own people who moved with deliberate grace, humans seemed to possess a restless energy. They walked faster, gestured more, their expressions constantly shifting. It was both unsettling and fascinating. The bridge of the Horizon Seeker was a hive of focused activity when they arrived. Commander Wells immediately approached them. Captain, the Concordat vessels have increased speed. New intercept time is 85 minutes. Options? Maya asked, moving to the central command position. We've plotted 3 escape vectors, Wells responded, bringing up a tactical display. But they positioned themselves to cut off the most direct routes back to human space. Lieutenant Commander Okafor joined them. They're using standard pursuit formation. 1 lead vessel, 2 flanking to prevent evasive maneuvers. Saren studied the display. These are Concordat enforcement vessels, heavily armed but not as maneuverable as they appear. Their primary advantage is their sensor range. Maya nodded. Can we outrun them? Not on conventional drives, Saren said. Their ships are designed specifically for pursuit and interdiction. What about unconventional drives? Maya asked. Saren looked at her sharply. What do you mean? Instead of answering directly, Maya turned to her engineering officer. Lieutenant Park, status of the phase shift drive. The young engineer hesitated. It's operational, Captain, but still highly experimental. We've only tested it twice in controlled conditions. Today won't be controlled, but it might be our only option. Maya looked back at Saren. The phase shift drive is based on the same quantum principles you mentioned. It's not instantaneous travel, but it does allow us to shift partially out of normal space, increasing our effective speed by a factor of 10. Saren's markings brightened with surprise. The Concordat would call this illegal technology. They would. Maya agreed with a grin that Saren found surprisingly infectious. But they have to catch us first. Captain, interrupted the communications officer, we're receiving a transmission from the lead Concordat vessel. Let's hear what they have to say, Maya replied, her expression cooling. The voice that filled the bridge was measured and authoritative. Human vessel, this is Enforcer Thorn of the Galactic Concordat. You are harboring fugitives and suspected terrorists. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded by authority of the Concordat High Council. Maya exchanged a glance with Saren before responding. Enforcer Thorn, this is Captain Chen of the Earth Alliance vessel Horizon Seeker. We responded to a distress signal from a research vessel in accordance with interstellar law. We are providing humanitarian assistance to their crew. The Alari vessel was engaged in illegal activities, came the immediate reply. Transfer their personnel to our custody immediately or face the consequences of interfering in Concordat security operations. Maya muted the transmission. Thoughts, Captain Tivol. Saren's expression was grim. If my people are turned over to the enforcers, we'll never reach an Alari court. There will be an accident during transfer. That's what I figured. Maya unmuted the channel. Enforcer Thorn, I'm afraid we cannot comply with your request. The survivors aboard my vessel have requested asylum under Earth Alliance protection. There was a momentary silence before Thorn responded, his voice now cold. You have 30 minutes to reconsider your position, Captain Chen. After that, we will take appropriate measures to enforce Concordat law. The transmission cut off. Appropriate measures means they'll try to disable us first, Saren explained. They want the artifacts intact. Maya nodded. Then we don't give them 30 minutes to position themselves better. She turned to her helm officer. Set course for the Caladan Nebula. Lieutenant Park, prepare the phase shift drive. The nebula appeared on the tactical display, a dense cloud of ionized gas and dust that would interfere with sensors. Commander Wells, coordinate with Chief Medical Officer Rivera. I want all Alari crews secured for high-G maneuvers. Maya looked at Saren. Your people may find the next few hours uncomfortable. Our evasive tactics can be intense. We'll manage, Saren assured her. My first officer, Nelif, should coordinate with your security team. If it comes to boarding actions, he knows Concordat tactics. Good idea. Maya turned to address her bridge crew. We have exactly 1 hour to disappear. Let's make it count. As the Horizon Seeker accelerated toward the nebula, Saren felt a strange sensation she hadn't experienced in years. Exhilaration. The Alari valued control and precision above all else. Humans, it seemed, embraced chaos and improvisation. Your phase shift drive, she said quietly to Maya. It's based on incomplete principles. Without the full quantum entanglement equations, it's dangerously unstable. Maya met her gaze steadily. That's why we only use it when necessary. With the data in these artifacts, you could perfect it. Is that an offer, Captain Tivol? Before Saren could respond, Lieutenant Commander Okafor called out, Concordat vessels accelerating. They're not waiting 30 minutes. Neither are we, Maya replied. All hands, battle stations. Execute evasion pattern Delta. Lieutenant Park, phase shift drive on my mark. The Horizon Seeker banked sharply, accelerating toward the nebula's edge. On the view screen, energy blasts from the lead Concordat vessel lit up space behind them. They're firing warning shots, Okafor reported. The next ones won't be warnings, Maya said grimly. Lieutenant Park, status. Phase shift drive charged and ready, Captain, but I must advise against using it within the nebula. The interaction with the ionized particles cold could be exactly the cover we need, Maya finished. We shift into the nebula. They lose sensor contact, and we shift out on a vector they won't expect. Saren stepped forward. Captain Chen, the artifacts might help. They contain stabilization algorithms for quantum fields. Maya raised an eyebrow. Can you interface them with our systems? With your engineer's help, yes. Maya made her decision instantly. Do it. Lieutenant Park, work with Captain Tivol. As the human engineer and Saren huddled over a science station, interfacing the ancient crystalline technology with the human ship systems, the Horizon Seeker continued its desperate race toward the nebula. Direct hit to aft shields, called out the tactical officer. Shield integrity at 78%. Return fire, defensive pattern only, Maya ordered. We just need to buy a few more minutes. Saren's fingers moved rapidly over the human interface, adapting it to accept input from the artifact she'd connected. Almost there, she murmured to Park. The artifact's algorithms are stabilizing your drive's quantum field. This is incredible, Park whispered. The efficiency increase is off the charts. Entering nebula in 30 seconds, announced the helm officer. Maya took her command seat. All hands, secure for phase shift. Helm, on my mark. execute the shift, and then immediate course change to heading 227 Mark 34. They'll still track our entry vector, Wells warned. Exactly what I'm counting on, Maya replied. Lieutenant Park. The engineer looked up from his station. Phase shift drive stabilized, Captain. Ready on your command. 5 seconds to nebula boundary. Call the helm. Maya's voice was calm. 3, 2, 1. Execute phase shift. The Horizon Seeker shuddered as reality itself seemed to warp around it. Through the view screen, the stars stretched and blurred. The nebula's edge, previously distant, rushed toward them at impossible speed. Saren felt her body lighten momentarily as the ship partially shifted out of normal spacetime. The sensation was unlike anything she'd experienced, exhilarating and terrifying in equal measure. Then they were inside the nebula, surrounded by swirling clouds of glowing gas. The phase shift disengage, returning them fully to normal space. Immediate course change, now, Maya ordered. The ship banked hard, changing direction within the concealing clouds. Concordat vessels continuing on our entry vector, Okafor reported with satisfaction. They've lost us. A cheer went up from the bridge crew, but Maya silenced it with a raised hand. We're not clear yet. Maintain silent running. Lieutenant Park, prepare for one more phase shift once we reach the far side of the nebula. Saren disconnected the artifact carefully. The integration was successful. Your drive's efficiency has increased by 37%. With just one artifact, Park noted. If we could study all 5. One step at a time, Maya interrupted. First, we get clear of the Concordat ships. 2 hours later, the Horizon Seeker emerged from the far side of the nebula, executed another phase shift that took them well beyond the Concordat vessel's sensor range, and set course for a remote star system known only to Earth Alliance explorers. In Maya's ready room once again, Saren and Maya sat across from each other, this time with First Officer Nelith and Commander Wells joining them. The Concordat will not stop looking, Nelith warned. These artifacts represent a direct threat to their control of interstellar travel, and they'll label both our peoples as criminals for possessing them, Saren added. Maya exchanged a glance with Wells before speaking. Then perhaps it's time our peoples had a conversation outside Concordat channels. The Earth Alliance has been looking for allies who share our concerns about Concordat restrictions. The Alari Council has traditionally been cautious about defying the Concordat, Saren admitted. But these artifacts